Good evening and welcome to our 70th episode, and also going to be potentially our final episode for 2022. It's been a thrilling rugby year, and we're actually glad to have this young man joining us on the show this evening. And what a year he's had. He's made his debut for the Hurricanes. He's been in the New Zealand under-20s program, and also he has also been part of the Wellington Lions this season in what has been a pretty good run of form lately for the Wellington Lions. And we're going to kick off talking about the Ranfurly Shield with Riley Higgins. Riley, many thanks for coming on the Huddy Hui for tonight. You didn't actually play on Saturday, but you were out there running the water. What was the feeling like with the team winning the Shield, and in particular, describe the feeling of winning it and the celebrations afterwards?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was that last probably 10 minutes of that game, running that water, the benches, no one was sitting down, so it was pretty intense. But afterwards, the whole bench running on, everyone hugging each other, stuff like that. It was pretty unreal. Some of the boys played 10 or so years, and they've never experienced that. So for me to do it in my first year is pretty unreal. I'm pretty grateful for that.
Last time Wellington won the Ranfurly Shield was 2008. It's been a long 14 years. And of course, at that time, it was a pretty historic team as well. What was the key to shutting down Hawke's Bay in that game?
I think it was just our personnel. Our team that week, they really put in their work throughout the week, and everyone kind of had each other's back and knew what was on the line. So I think coaches really just left it up to the players, kind of thing, and everyone kind of nailed their role and just took charge of what they had to.
Wellington are 6 wins from 2 this season in the Bunnings NPC. The Northland game was one game where Wellington didn't play well at Potiwara Park that day. Was it the turning point for the team this season?
Yeah, it definitely was. I think that feeling in the changing room after that game, it really kind of showed us what we wanted to change and just the things like that. So I think it was good for us in a way, but yeah, it's definitely given us a wake-up call and made us where we are now. So
interesting tactic the Lions used on Saturday night is that you came to using your bench very late in the piece. What was the decision behind keeping mostly the same starting 15 on the field for most of the game?
I'm not too sure. It's probably more up to the coaches, but I think just the 15 that were on the field at that time really, kind of knew what they wanted to do and how to get the job done. So I think, more of a coach's call there, but I think it was the right call in the end. So,
what's it like having All Black TJ Petone in the Lions squad for this year?
Yeah, he's definitely a role model for us younger guys, and even the older guys in there at the moment. Really takes charge of things at training, gives us his little tips and just stuff like that. So it's pretty awesome to be around.
So you won the Shield in the weekend, and now you've come back to reality this week within the Lions team. How have the squad regrouped and refocused while you take that phone call?
Sorry. Sorry for that.
That's right.
What was the question again, sorry?
We'll repeat it for you. After winning the Shield, how have the Lions squad regrouped and refocused? Must be a fan of yours. Jeez.
Mitch Souther, who else would it be?
Yeah.
You've been an idiot. Well, I think we've kind of celebrated on the Saturday and Sunday, and we really came in on Tuesday and just regathered ourselves. Obviously, it's another Shield game, so we don't want to have it for the week and then it be gone again. So I think, we really put a lot of effort into this week. Training tomorrow will be a big one, so hopefully we can lock it away for the summer.
Now, of course, you actually made your debut for the Hurricanes before you did for the Wellington Lions. You came up against Fiju and Dura late in the piece. Tell us about that experience running on for the Hurricanes and your support crew, which was probably one of the largest sections of the crowd at the stadium that evening.
Yeah, no, it was pretty unreal. Kind of that week came in came into training that week, and Alfie kind of said that they were looking to rest a few players and just give a few players a break, and they wanted me to come off the bench that game. So it was pretty unreal to run out there, and yeah, that that little section of all the stream boys, my mates, it was pretty cool feeling. Probably the loudest on there, and when I was on the bench, I could hear everything they were saying, so it was pretty cool.
And of course, yeah, you didn't actually stay on the field that very long. You're only really about a minute on, Riley, and then you're off to the sin bin.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's probably just a rush of blood there, and just wanted to try to do something, impact the game, and it was probably in the wrong way. So
Now, your Lions debut actually was in round one against the Bay of Plenty Steamers. Um, how was that experience, in particular, having to start in that game against a pretty good Bay of Plenty side?
yeah, no, there's another real cool feeling. It was kind of, yeah, like you said, I wasn't really on for too much of that Hurricanes game, so it was kind of my first look at pro footy, and yeah, I kind of just tried to take it like another game. Train that week was all pretty good, so just kind of went out there, focused on myself, did my own thing, and just played well.
Of course, you've got a few fellow midfielders in the Wellington Lions. What learnings have you taken from the likes of Peter Umangan-Jetson and Billy Proctor, who have been in the setup for a while?
Yeah, definitely. Well, when I was in around them last year, kind of just learning off them and feeding off them, and I'm still doing that to this day. So it's pretty awesome to have those type of caliber of players around me. So it's awesome.
And of course, also, your brother as well, Keenan Higgins, is a fellow midfielder, and he played club rugby here in Wellington for a number of years for Northern United, and now he's moved over to the Hawke's Bay. He's actually in the Hawke's Bay Magpies squad. What have you learnt from your brother in your midfield career, and did you really wanted to go against him in the Ranfurly Shield in the weekend?
Yeah, no, well, we both weren't originally midfielders before like college days. We're both number 10, so kind of, yeah, I don't know what it was back in college in about year 9 or so, and then we just took the change to midfield, and we both kind of found our spot there. Kind of suits both our playing styles, so it's been pretty cool. But yeah, no, it would have been unreal to go against him on Saturday, but both weren't there. But it was still good to get the win.
And how's he been finding the Hawke's Bay and his rugby up there?
Yeah, no, he's enjoying it. Yeah, he took his opportunity, and he's doing that well. So I think he's really liking it up there.
Now, as always, rugby is vital with having a strong family to support you. How important has family been in your rugby journey?
Yeah, definitely important. Probably everywhere. My whole family is all rugby supporters, so it's been pretty cool seeing them. Every Saturday up in the stands or on the field. So it's pretty special to have them there and just try to do them proud every day. So.
And where did your rugby journey start as a young man?
I would have started probably when I was about 4. Played ripper rugby down in Christchurch for Belfast. So I lived down there for a couple of years. Played to about under 11s, I think. And then moved up to Wellington. Played junior rugby at Norths, and then obviously Silverstream, and then off to Petone now.
Of course, St. Pat Silverstream, you played your college rugby there. Tell us about your time at the college and also playing for the first 15, because it's a rather special setup.
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of the most treasured things to me, playing for that school. So started in year 9, and yeah, like I said, I was a bit chubby back then, and got moved to the midfield under Mitch Forbes in the under 14 setup, and had him again under 15s, and then off to first 15 in year 11, where Tim Mannix was a coach. So it was definitely really cool, especially in my first year. I won that competition, but then year 12 and 13 both lost to Scots in the final. So it was pretty cool.
And did talk about that your last game against Scots College, and what were the learnings you learnt from that game? Because you'd beaten them previously in the season and just fell short in the final.
Yeah, it was probably because that game we played against them earlier in the season, I think it was like 5 points to 7 or something. So we knew that final would be another tough game, and we had pretty much that same team the whole year, and went unbeaten until that final. So it's definitely something that you look back on as a rugby player and see what you could have done more and what you couldn't have done. So.
And what was probably your most famous game, or the game that you enjoyed the most playing for the St. Pat's First 15?
I know there's quite a lot. Always loved playing the traditionals against Town and Dub C, so probably too hard to choose, but maybe the year 13 traditional against Town. That was pretty tight game and pretty special.
Well, that was a game where you were trailing until the last 10 minutes. And there was a miracle try that was scored that actually got you guys back into the game to win the traditional.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, from that, you were selected in the New Zealand secondary schools in a rather disruptive 2020. Was it disappointing that the team was only selected on paper and you didn't get to play a game?
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. Like the previous years, seeing the team play like Australia and Fiji and things like that, and my brother played Barbarians, and even them playing against the likes of like Tonga and stuff like that. So it would have been cool to, I don't know, go. We were supposed to go to Australia that year, so would have been cool to go play them in the championship and see what we could have done. But it is what it is with the 2020 year and COVID and stuff like that. So.
And your thoughts on how the Silverstream First 15 went this year? You probably got to watch a few games of them. Tell us about that side and your thoughts on them, because they came so close to the top 4.
Yeah, no, it was pretty enjoyable watching them. Like I said, I had Mitch Forbes as my under 14 and under 15 coach, and he's one of my best mates' dad. So I knew he's a great coach, great person, and he would have been pushing them to the end. But yeah, watching that final and then the Napier game where they lost due to that Napier scoring first or whatever the rule was, but
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It's the furthest the team's gone in the while. So.
And of course, you made the move in 2021 to the Petone Rugby Football Club. Why did you decide to pick Petone, and what are the learnings that you've learned from club rugby in your game?
Yeah, it's definitely a big decision for me. I think kind of the tipping point in the end was just a lot of Australian boys, some of my closest mates going there, and that's kind of where I enjoy my footy the most, is around my mates. So I just kind of chose to go there and kind of just make the most of it, see where it goes from there. But club footy is definitely it was definitely a lot more physical than school footy, and even probably now it was real physical. So it's
And as a young man coming out of college and you are looking to go to a rugby club, and you probably, some of your talents has been probably hunted around by the clubs, what pressures do you find from that, from a lot of rugby clubs and maybe other scouts that are looking to sign your services?
Yeah, it's kind of just focused on myself, just thinking about the best thing for myself. Like I said, just wanting to be around my mates, and kind of Tony was the only real stand up for me at the end, just with all my mates, or the even ex Stream boys, and just the coaching ties that Silverstream has with Petone as well. So I knew what I'd get in a coaching sense as well.
And of course, you've been part of the Wellington Rugby Academy for a number of years now. How important has that academy been in your career today, in particular lining up your future pathways?
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing for me. Early morning wake ups, and then heading off to work or doing whatever you do. It's kind of just sent me to where I am today. Just kind of the work effort that has to be put in for those like 5:30 wake ups, and then train for an hour or two, and then head off to whatever you're doing. So it's definitely given me some mental toughness in a way.
And for the games that you have played for Petone this year and even last year, you've been a pretty dominant player on the field, and particularly the midfield. But was it disappointing that you had to go into a representative camp when that Bain was on?
Yeah, well, me and Peter kind of knew that that under 20s was coming up on that first week. We had to leave, so it was pretty disappointing. But we managed to catch a live stream, and we had our coach Eugene Smith giving us live updates. So it was pretty cool to just watch the tribe update go from a draw to Petone winning it in the end, and then seeing the video at the end was pretty unreal.
And of course, there was that Bunnings under-20s competition in Taupo, which has sort of seemed to replace the old Jock Hobbs tournament that used to be for the NPC sides. A week learning about professional rugby in Taupo and learning about the lifestyles. What did you learn from that week up there in camp?
Yeah, like you said, it kind of gave us an insight into like what pro footy would look like and that type of level of rugby. So it's definitely pretty cool to play against those type of people and that caliber of players. So kind of gave us an insight onto where we want to be as future rugby players. So it's quite a good stepping stone for the future.
Now, you finally got to don the black jersey this year in the New Zealand under-20s in 2022, and you played in the campaign up there in Queensland. You were there with your fellow Petone players, Peter Larkai and Harry Godfrey. And, of course, the team did extremely well over there in Queensland, winning all their games. What did you learn from that experience, and also especially around leadership?
Yeah, that was a pretty cool tournament to be a part of. Last year we didn't get to go anywhere, and then this year having the chance to go to Australia and actually play other international teams like Fiji, Argentina, and Australia was pretty cool. It kind of also gave us another stepping stone into what pro footy is going to look like, and we had top-notch coaches as well. So we kind of became better players on and off the field. So it was a pretty cool experience.
And of course, the Jubilee Cup final, you did manage to get to play before Petone when all that came to an end. You scored 2 tries in the final against your junior club Norths. You narrowly lost 23-20. What was it like playing in the centrepiece of Wellington Club Rugby and scoring an intercept try off an All Black halfback?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I remember a couple of years back going and watching Keenan play. He played in 2, I think. So I always kind of wanted to get there one day, and finally did against Norths. And yeah, it was a tight game, playing against a top-notch Norths team, and my uncle was the coach as well. So kind of bit of family beef there, but no, it was a real good game throughout the whole 80 minutes, and then just to come short was pretty hurtful. But we look back at that season and we're really proud of what we achieved and how we did that. So kind of just flushing that and trying to look on to next year, see what happens.
Do you model your role as a midfielder on another player? And if so, why?
Yeah, well, kind of always looked at Sonny Bill when he played. Kind of bit of offload, strong ball carry and stuff like that. But David Havili's kind of becoming my new player to watch, and Rico Ioane. So kind of just wanting to do what they both do as an individual, and just trying to see what I can take from their game and put it into mine.
And what work-ons have you developed in your game or have still to work on?
Yeah, definitely just probably my breakdown stuff is still a work on, just becoming just getting rid of the bigger players and how people are getting just stronger over the ball and finding ways to get those jackals to just break down.
Now, very soon, the Wellington Lions, the Hurricanes, along with the Wellington Phoenix, will be moving to a new training base, the NZCIS in Trentham. Have you seen the new site, and how important will it be to be the centrepiece for sport in Wellington?
Yeah, that place is, I think, the best in the Southern Hemisphere or something like that. So it's going to be a pretty awesome facility, and just to be a part of that is going to be really, really cool. And just to have those, type of facilities and just things, better recovery for everyone, and just better, training facility and things like that for everyone. So be good.
And how long have you signed with the Lions and the Hurricanes? Maybe not know.
Pardon?
How long have you signed for? I mean,
just 2 years. Next 2 years.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. And of course, you've the shield holders now, and that carries an extra burden. You've got Waikato on Saturday, very highly fancied Waikato, and although they did lose to Otago in the weekend. What will the Lions need to do to approach that game, and where do you need to watch Waikato in their particular areas of their game?
Yeah, I think Waikato, definitely a top-notch squad. I think the likes of Damien McKenzie, just their back three, really Rasley on their feet, good kicking game. And I think it's just us playing our own game, not getting caught up in that, everyone having each other's backs and just defending what we want to defend. So should be a good game.
And I'm going to ask you a selection question to finish off our interview tonight, Riley.
Yeah.
The All Blacks midfield is a bit shaky at the moment. 2 injuries from last weekend's game. Who would you start in the midfield at Eden Park on Saturday, and would you give Roger Tuivasa-Sheck a go?
Yeah, definitely got to give him a go. He's been playing well in NPC, so I'd have him at 12 and Rico at 13. And then
no thoughts of Geordie Barrett in the midfield?
Geordie, he played well on the last 40 last week, so be interesting. But I think you can't beat him at 15. Row really leads well from the back, but be interesting to see.
Well, Riley, it's been fantastic having you as our final guest for the year on the Huddy Hui. All the best for the rest of the season in the NPC. Go well.
Sweet. Thank you, Brad. See ya.
Riley Higgins and the Wellington Lions. It's been a fascinating week. It's been fantastic, actually. I went yesterday to Ranfurly High School to see the Ranfurly Shield. Haven't seen that since 2008, so it was good to see one of the most prized trophies in New Zealand. A lot of history on that one. Of course, Wellington were the first holders, the first winners of the Ranfurly Shield, beating Auckland all those years ago. And of course, this Saturday, the Wellington Lions play host to Waikato at Sky Stadium. Have a look over the next 24 hours. We're going to put 2 free tickets up to that game. So there'll be a trivia question as well. So look for that on our Facebook and Instagram page. And this being our final episode of the year for 2022, our 70th episode, Her Majesty's 70 years on the throne. We'd like to thank a few people this season for the games that we have brought you, and also the Huddy Huis that we have brought you this season. We would like to thank, in particular, our 2 sponsors, Mike Pinfold, Pumping and Drain Lane Limited, who have been on board again for a second year in a row. It's been fantastic having Mike on board. Hopefully have him again next year. And also to Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers, one of our new sponsors this year. And it's been a joy to have. And we'd like to thank you, the Wellington rugby community, and all those that watch it from far and wide here in New Zealand or overseas. It's been a pleasure having you listen and watch the Huddy Hui and our live streams this year in 2022. We'll be back in 2023 for our first Huddy Hui on the first week of Wellington Club Rugby for the start of the Swindale Shield. So many thanks to all of you for tuning in this year. And for the final time for 2022, I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao.